here. As the background to this, I just want to mention that this work in trust comes from a project which I like. My background in trust is from this project, designing inclusive and trustworthy digital public services for migrants in Finland. Trust them. So it's what I've been mentioning all week, that there's digital services at the city of Espoo for migrants, or we want to have digital services. And in these projects we are investigating how trust is generated in that service structure. It's funded by the Strategic Research Council, and they want me to always mention that they are funding things. So I have fun managing, but it's a good project. It's an interesting, very interdisciplinary project. So, starting off again with questions. The obvious one, what is trust? Also the hard one. So,
believing someone with secret.
Sorry?
Believing someone.
Believing someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they will keep the secret of ours.
Yeah, that's keeping secrets is part, yes, of trust. Believing. Okay.
I am confident that the other party will keep their end of the bargain.
Yes, well, I'm confident that the other end will keep their part of the bargain. So now the added thing here is kind of that there is a confidence. So it is a believe, confident, and that's a difference, slight difference. And then you should bargain, like a contract type of thing. And then more thoughts on what is trust.
Lack of doubt.
Lack of doubt. Okay. Okay, yeah.
Or maybe sincere reliability on someone or something.
So that's a good one now. So if I understood, sincere reliability. Yes. Reliability is yes, definitely one of the components. So yes. Any more thoughts? Go one step forward. What is trustworthiness? How is it different from trust?
Trustworthiness is a value that something can have, quality that something can have, trust is something that.
So yes, repeating to the microphone that the trustworthiness is a quality that something can have, so the property of something, and then the trust is
an action.
Action.
Kind of an action. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if I understand correctly, that the trust. So if there's a trust between, let's say you and me, then you have the, well, if let's say I'm trusting you, that means that you have the quality of trustworthiness, and I have the action of trusting you.
Yes. You believe that I have the quality of trustworthiness?
Yes, I believe that's true, yes. It might not be true. Yes. Any other thoughts on trustworthiness? How that? So, but we already touched a bit on who are the stakeholders. So who we, well, of course, there is a so someone who trusts. That's what obvious.
The system, we are talking about speech system. So that system or the person, the user, the content, and the framework in which it is built,
Yeah.
the purpose for which it is being developed. These are all the
Yeah. So that all in a speech interface setting. Yes. So there's the many components. There's the like you said service and service provider and
yes.
the purpose for which it was built. But already in a human setting, there seems to be necessary that there's an object which you trust.
Yeah, not only that, the regulators, maybe the government,
Yeah.
there may be an international body which governs the standards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all of those are somehow joined in that trust. Does the same apply in the human relationships that there's like a broad range of things?
Yes.
Let's say like a human, and so if I trust Jolly, I also trust his family.
No, that is true. But you trust Johnny as an individual, or if you have met him through IIT,
Mm-hmm.
then you will trust IIT.
Yeah, that could be, yeah.
Yes.
So the IIT gives more credibility to Jolly, and therefore I can trust him more. That I can combine.
And if somebody is known to Jolly, maybe in his LinkedIn or something, you also like to trust, and that is how the social media
Yeah.
works.
Yes.
They see the linkages, and that's how they try to communicate some idea, some proposition.
Yeah. So the networks around a person can support the trustworthiness, and then we have said that also brings
Yeah,
my
so
trust.
believe, they believe that if he send this information to one person, it will spread to all the some 100 different levels, and they may all believe, they may all behave in the same way. So that's the assumption people make.
Yeah. That's but that's actually assumption is, I think, is a good addition. That there's like trust is somehow always related to assumptions. Mm-hmm. So this seems to be also like a feedback, or now spontaneously feeling that also Jolly then influences the trustworthiness of IIT or his actions. We are connected also the other way. So IIT wants Jolly to be good, so that IIT gets more trustworthiness. Everything seems to be connected. So the opposite, what is distrust?
Lack of reliability or something.
A lack of reliability, okay? So is it then, so you I think you said that trust is to be reliable. So then lack of reliability would mean that it's the polar opposite of trust. Are they entirely opposite? So I can reveal that I've heard claims that they are not exactly opposite, but I never really understood why they are not really opposites. There seems to be something in which they are not entirely opposite.
They are not entirely opposite.
Mm-hmm.
They are not entirely opposite.
And why?
I can trust her with things, but I can still think though she's not reliable to get things done. Like they can have different beliefs.
Yeah.
like it's like I can trust my entire class to have my back, but I cannot probably rely on them to get a thing done.
Mhm.
It's still possible like that. So the meanings are like, they cover different
Yeah,
zones.
a couple of different zones. That's my feeling right now is that also like there's a big gray zone in between. That the trust is at this end and this trust is at this end, and there's a big area in between where it's not really nice either. Microphone fell off. No, I think. So yes, big gray zone in between where basically we are indifferent, we don't have an opinion. That would be my feeling. But that perhaps distrust is also somehow, I feel that distrust is someone is actively working against you. For me, that's somehow included in distrust.
Trust is easy to get, distrust is very, so trust is difficult to gain, distrust very easy.
Yes, that's true. That's a big difference. You can lose trust and very quickly. It is actually hard to rebuild trust. So there's an asymmetry. So what are the essential components or factors of trust? So this reliability was mentioned. I think that's at least one component. This is the only component. At least you seem to be of the opinion that there's also other things than reliability.
Confidence
Confidence?
in someone, like I'm suddenly what? Yeah, confidence in someone. You consider somebody as a confidant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Love and affection are, I think, the most essential components of trust.
Not
Yes.
necessarily.
Yeah, so I think that they are not essential, but they can if you have love then probably you have trust.
I trust this chair to not break. I do not I don't need to have love and affection towards this chair.
That's true.
Familiarity with the person.
Familiarity, so if it's a person, yes, so familiarity could be part. Of course, with the chair, probably you're also familiar with the chair. I start to this chair can tilt. It's actually reduces my trust a bit because I don't know how far I can go.
There are both subjective and objective factors, I feel.
Subjective and objective, yes.
Yes, many of the things what we have mentioned is subjective.
Yeah.
Like believing, relaying, I trust my parents, I trust my children,
Mm-hmm.
it's all subjective. Objective is if it delivers something, some quality,
Yes.
some consistency, then we start, for example, we have a mobile phone or a speech-enabled device and it delivers good voice. So we start trusting that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We trust this projector because it is giving good quality of presentation,
Yeah.
isn't it? So these are all objective.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we are able to measure them, and based on that, our trust in that keeps on getting re-emphasized.
Yeah. Does it need to have both, or does it always have objective and subjective? Or
No, some of the times they may be subjective as objective.
mm-hmm.
As I said about, let's say I have my family, even if my wife argues with me or my daughter argues with me or doesn't obey what I say,
Yeah.
the trust doesn't diminish.
Yeah.
Okay. So deliverables may be there, deliverables may not be there, then, but still that trust will keep on increasing. it will exist.
Yeah.
Whereas, let's say this mic is there, suppose if it doesn't work after some time, so we will just leave it and we take another mic.
Yeah. Yes, something.
When I'm talking, if a system is the object of consideration for essential components, so is it secure? What I'm using, is it compromised? That is one consideration.
Yes, so that's one factor for a device or service. Whether it, so it needs all, like we talked yesterday, so a entirely secure system or even a very private system can sometimes still be distrusted. So someone paranoid.
The example I'll just carry out in what you're saying. If the majority of the people, like, they think IIT is the best. So similarly, like, if majority of the people will trust something, then even I'll fall for the trust.
So it's like infectious. So if other people trust, then also I would start to trust. That's interesting. I haven't thought about that before.
Influential.
Influential, yes.
Trust, I mean, the way I view trust, right? Trust comes from consistent, transparent actions.
Consistent,
built
transparent,
over
yeah.
time.
Built over time. Okay, now we have three concepts here. So consistent,
Transparent.
so it's all the time, like stationary, and the transparent, so we have knowledge about it, and then over time, so there's time component in it. Perhaps it's consistent is probably also related to time. That it's, but at least so the transparency was one component.
Everybody moves up in life, right?
Yeah.
And everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
It is not about making mistake, it is about how you are bouncing back and how transparent you are to the other stakeholder determines the trust factor in you.
Yeah. So you have to communicate your, perhaps I'll jump back to Jolly's intentions. So you have to communicate your intentions. So it's not so much the actions, but the intentions behind the actions, which are then components of trust.
Exactly. And like from an organization perspective, right, there are organizations, I mean, see, it is not like trivial to measure. Trust is not trivial to measure.
That's true.
But there are organizations, elite organizations, who has built trust into the mechanism.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, say for example, someone did a research and I read it in a paper as well as a video, right? Someone said the elite military organization, right? If performance comes in x-axis and trust comes in y-axis, right? You always want high performant, high trusty people, but they don't exist basically. Right? I mean, like high performance and trust. I mean, it is not inversely proportional, but it's a very, very rare combination to find. But people selecting elite forces, they actually place trust over, even if they have okayish performance and high trust, they will place those kind of individuals on elite forces. So it has to be built over time, being transparent, and be sincere about what you're doing. Basically.
Sincerity is also a new concept now. But in addition, I thought about you mentioned the military high performance. Does that mean that high performance, of course, builds a power relationship? So that I think has an influence here. That if you are more powerful, then perhaps it's harder to trust. Because then also perhaps the consequences will be hard
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The problem with very high performance, right? I mean, I'm telling practically, right?
Yeah.
The very high performance is you've already set a standard, right?
Yeah.
And the moment you don't live up to the standard, that's why performance is not a correct measure for a lot of key positions in the organization. I mean, you might perform, you might not perform. I mean, you cannot be that consistent, right? But if you're transparent about your actions, say for example, I mean, there might have been a low point in your life and say transparent, be transparent about it, and you will start building that trust. And always trust, I mean, for all my relationship with my clients, right, trust has always been built over time, basically.
Yeah.
And I stay away from clients who want to build things quickly. I mean, like, I generally stay away from those clients because that is not my velocity or like, I won't fit there really well, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah.
It really takes time.
Yes. So I know many things at the same time. But so one thing with the power, so high performance, perhaps that is more can be more variable. That's one thing, but that's not about trust. It's about performance. But you said that if you have high performance, then you set an expectation that you will still be high performance. So once you have both high performance and trust, it's easier to drop the trust.
That's a deadly combination. That's very, 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 very rare to find.
So it's dangerous to have high performance and trust. For trust, it's better to be a bit lower performance because then you can make more mistakes. Interesting.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah,
that's the basic funda.
Yeah. But there was also like the time component now mentioned many times that it's built over trust. So trust is built over time. I was wondering also when we start a new relationship, is that then entirely void of trust when you meet a new person, or how does it start and how does it then evolve? Clearly it builds, so once you get far enough from the start, it starts to build up. But how does the starting work?
It is the degree of expected concurrence.
Expected, so you mean then that the kind of, you have an average of different say, people, and then you kind of, based on your experience with other people, you have an expectation of what the trust is. Yes. Okay, that's all. Yes. Okay. Can we agree with that view?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, everything starts with a baseline.
Yeah.
And the baseline, say for example, take Joyce's example, right? Where you are associated. Once again, the time component comes in because you have put the time somewhere in the past to position yourself somewhere, and when you're positioned there, right, it gives the trust automatically because once again, trust is a component of time basically. The amount of time you put in somewhere and reach somewhere, that gives you a baseline upon which you're going to operate on.
Yeah.
And then actions will determine like what is the trust that is going to have in that relationship over and over again basically. So that's how, I mean, it has to start with some baseline, right? And you will baseline that parameters. Typically, right, I mean, the institute you are associated with, the company you are working for, like your friends whom you've known for a long time. So you place the baseline on, or you will make the baseline on something, but the baseline doesn't determine the longevity of the relationship.
Yeah.
Right? The baseline depends upon consistent, transparent, sincere actions, basically.
Yeah. That's it. transparent, sincere, consistent.
Consistent.
Yeah.
When I say consistent, it is not about, I mean, like showing up every day, every night. It is not about that, right? Consistent doesn't mean like show consistency with a reasonable amount of.
Yes. There's one more aspect that I'm thinking about is the goodness or badness of trust. How do you feel about goodness or it sounds to me like trust is related to that someone is good to you. Is that always the case?
Not necessarily, like my view is not necessarily right. I mean, like.
If you know that the person has the best interest of your
Exactly. Like.
So, say the microphone.
It's like just because somebody is good to me, I need not trust that person.
Yeah.
But if I know that the person, I have reasons to believe that this person has my best interest, or the person to believe that this person has nothing really against me, either way. So then that goodness will be registered as goodness. Otherwise, there is a little skepticism, even if one can be a little skeptical about why this person is really, really good to me. So unless the goodness is validated by some reason, either to believe there is no reason why this person would want to harm me, or to believe that this person has a best interest of mine in mind, I need not take the goodness at its face value.
Okay, yeah. I see some nodding in the room. I have I'm trying to kind of form a scenario where goodness is strange. Let's suppose I have an old bike which I've had it for a long time. It starts to be bad. I don't like it anymore. And I know that my neighbor is a criminal. So I put the bike in front of his house. Next day, I can trust that the next day the bike is gone. I trust him to do a criminal thing, which on the face of it could be, like, he doesn't know if I want it. From his perspective, it could actually be a bad thing for me. But I trust him to do that. Would that be a fair use of the word trust? It's good for me, but he doesn't know it. There's some questions over there. You have a question? Someone has a question.
I didn't fully understand the situation.
So yes, so I have a bike which, for one reason or another, I don't like it anymore.
Okay.
It has bad color. I grew tired of it. I want to get rid of it, but I can't be bothered by taking care of it. So I put it in front of my neighbor's yard. And I know that he's a criminal, so that he will rob it. So I trust him to rob it. I trust him to take care of my problem, which is a crime, and he doesn't know that he's doing a good thing to me. He thinks that he's doing a bad thing to me.
Oh, so by goodness you meant, like when you not, okay, I kind of understood what you meant by goodness now. You can say that is trust.
Yeah.
That is a trust.
Yeah.
You're trusting this person to take care of the situation.
Yeah.
Even if this person does not have full knowledge about your trust or your intention, or like what exactly the consequences of his actions are on
Yeah.
you. that's trust, and that trust. So it's like if I trust something, I expect it to bring good, it to do good to me.
Yeah. So that's actually I agree with that. I expect it to bring good to me. Yes.
Trust is a belief. All belief need not be trust.
So repeat that to your microphone.
Trust is a belief. Trust is a sort of a belief.
It's a okay. One.
And
Upwards.
Hello.
Yeah.
Trust is a belief.
Yes.
Okay. Trust is always associated with some goodness and benefits. Okay. All beliefs need not be trust.
Yeah.
Okay. We expect some people to be violent. That we don't call it as a trust. They can change, or we don't associate with such violent people. We know that certain type of people will be violent, they are having some bad behavior, they are cheaters or something like that. We know, we have learned it through someone or through our own experience. But that we don't call it as a trust in literature. Trust is only something where we have comfort level.
Comfort level, yes, that's true.
Something which is good, something beneficial.
Yeah.
So putting my bike in front of my neighbor's house, that I don't call it as that is a belief that if I put it in front of him, he may steal it. But I don't call it as a trust.
Okay. So you disagree with that, but that's not fine. Fair?
It's a kind of superficial trust.
Superficial trust. Okay, so it's a different type of trust. Yeah. And that also I can buy that. There can be different types of trust.
Because we use most of the time trust as a positive view.
Yes, so most of the time we use trust as a positive. So it's a positive belief. So at least the consequences, our belief is that the positive consequences are positive for myself, for the group that I represent. Yes. Here. I had some more questions. I forget them, so I go forward with this and then come back to that discussion. How's this last question here? How is trust towards people different from that towards technology? Is there a difference?
I think what he was talking about earlier, he used the term subjective and subjective trust.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use those terms, but the concepts, yes. Technology, there is something you trust is built upon the performance of it, or you need some reasons, in the sense like some solid reasons, like some proofs.
Yeah.
To trust. Trusting people can be, it's also a very cultural thing. Like whom do you trust, whom do you not trust? So like in a village in India, like you would like to not trust your teacher. It's not, oh no, you trust your teacher, you trust your, like it has to be, this person has to be saying whatever this person is saying for your good.
Yeah.
But probably elsewhere, you don't necessarily trust your teacher just because this person is your teacher. All things like that. It's also a very cultural thing, like trust towards people, there are other components other than their performance, what they deliver. Like there is cultural aspects, there is also very emotional, like sometimes they're like the reasons why people stay in abusive relationships. Like there is constant proof that this person does not have your best interest, but you still choose to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's entirely based on the performance or like the feedback, like what the proof.
Yeah.
It can be.
But so the objective evidence might not be kind of still enough.
Yes, it might not be enough.
Yeah. So coming back to, I think that intentions are probably that. So we believe for intentions.
Yeah, you look for the intentions and then you sort of, it's a little bit of gray. Yeah, that's true. Intentions probably is the key over there. Because like, I can say, oh, he or she didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
Intentions would have been like not that. I
Yeah.
can still somehow convince me that, if you have the best intentions, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
The consequences, if it like goes a little bit here or there, I'm ready to, not take it seriously. And then if you can convince me that you have the best intentions, then I'm like, okay, I still have the trust in you. But like if my phone, like, it goes off, it goes off.
Yeah. So would it mean that we don't assign intentions to the phone in the same sense? So we don't assign intentions to the phone in the same way?
Yes, we don't, yeah. But again, yesterday we talked about how sometimes we do.
Yeah.
It looks like, sometimes like we can form like we can have an emotional bond towards objects also.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to put trust, we are not putting trust on the intentions of the object.
Mm-hmm.
We are trusting the performance of the object.
Yeah.
On people, we are trusting the intentions of the people.
Yeah, so sometimes it's then the intentions, and sometimes it's the objective performance.
People, yes.
Yeah. People. Right. Now I actually remember what I was trying to get into. Yes, you have.
Yeah, I just want to give one example how we can trust towards how it differs towards people and technology. So suppose I'm riding my car and in some unknown city. I just wanted to go some X point to Y point.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my GPS system saying that you have to guide me towards that. So if it guides me properly, then okay, fine. If it is not guiding me properly, then I cannot directly approach to the Google people saying that okay, you have done this to me. But if somebody is navigated me wrong way, then I can come back and say that you have done, you have given me wrong direction.
Yeah.
So directly I can approach you, but that is not happening towards the technology what we are.
Okay. Yes, so, and how does then that influence trust? So that the lack of feedback. Sorry?
Lack of accessibility.
Lack of accessibility, so how does that influence trust?
Because whatever the guidance is given by the app, using many of, we trust that person is belong to that city, and we trust that this navigating properly.
Yeah.
So we have used very long period of time, and we know that this is the one way we can approach towards people.
Okay. Yeah. So if I understand correctly, then that kind of when you have used it for a long time, that builds up the trust. But with the person, you haven't that long experience.
I believe that person is belong to that.
Yeah.
So normally the trust will come automatically.
Yeah. That actually comes back to what we talked about, the starting of a trust relationship. There's some evidence that, some psychological evidence that people actually start with a quite high trust towards new people they meet. They want to believe that they are trustworthy. And quite, as a pattern, it drops quite rapidly after that. When they get evidence, it drops, and then it starts to grow afterwards. So there's psychological bias towards trusting people more than they are supposed to be trustworthy, more than the trustworthiness average. That self-corrects lower, and then you start to learn the person, and then you gain trust.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, every relationship goes through something called honeymoon period, right?
Yeah.
See, it is very easier to base the relationship on a trust, right? And even if something bad happens, you come away unscathed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy to have that right. Otherwise, you will get into positions where like you get paranoid a lot, right? I mean, saving yourself, like if you can base the relationship on trust, right? Even if something bad happens through the period, right? At least psychologically, you will come away unscathed without any ill on your part. The same will extend towards technology as well, right? See, the problem with technology, I mean, I want to draw a parallel as well, right? Intentions as well as technology, right? I mean, intentions also get revealed over time. See, I mean, not every intentions has to be taken at the face value, right? Because intentions in the short term might be beneficial, but in the long term might be self-interested also.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it also, once again, there is a time component to it. The problem with technology, at least for me, right, I mean, since I come from an engineering background, I say something called a recall bug, right? I mean, like, which I talked about earlier as well. Say, for example, if there are 100 items out there in technology, right? I mean, like 100 options. I mean, like, you are seeking technology for some options, right? I mean, if there are 100 options, if the technology exposes only 10 options to you, right? On a face value, those 10 options might be good. But you never know what 90 are out there, basically.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, take anything as an example. I mean, even conversational AI, right? You converse. I mean, very similar to people, right? You converse, right? If there are 100 different options that are available, and it exposes me or selectively exposes me based on my previous conversation or whatever bias that it introduces, right? I mean, you are not intentionally like guided towards an answer, but unintentionally guided towards an answer, and there is so many options out there which it did not expose. So that's my major concern with technology, right? I mean, you also pointed out a great example like yesterday, right? Sometimes, I mean, like the government wants to push some agenda like that will come in Netflix. I mean, it kind of gets annoying, but I mean, see, like. And also, right, we have put the too much trust in centralized environment, and we have been bred to like trust centralized environments, right? And when you place that trust on a centralized environment, I mean, once again, companies are legal persons basically, right? I mean, whatever it is, right? The legal persons will drive their agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it is not too dissimilar to like what is the trust factor with people, but it is somewhat different because you never know like what card technology will play on you basically. But with people like you, I mean, since you have good experience dealing with people, right, you pretty much know what is the worst case that's going to be.
Yeah.
In technology, you cannot. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot visualize like what's the worst case that can be, right? So.
Yeah. So that actually highlights now a new aspect we haven't discussed here. It's the exposure. You said also that something exposes you to something, the danger. So I feel like that's an essential component. There has to be a danger. Otherwise, we don't need trust. So, or it's like it doesn't have a meaning unless there is a danger. So what does that mean?
Trustworthiness is the consistency in the trust.
Consistency
Consistency in the trust.
in the trust. now I don't know what that means now.
See, we should expect the same performance,
Yeah.
so same deliverables, what we expect.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some expectations.
Yeah.
So those expectations should be consistently met
Yes.
as a function of time.
Yes.
Then that entity will become trustworthy.
Yes. But if the argument was that there has to be some danger involved, so how does that then play into, so a bad outcome has to be possible, so if there's danger involved.
Pardon me?
So I just claim that danger has to be included somehow. So if the situation is in no way dangerous, then to my mind, trust is not a question. I mean, it's irrelevant if there is no danger involved. That's all. You're saying that we have an expectation that the outcome is positive.
Yeah,
but where is the danger then in that?
No, there must be consistency in the output.
Yeah, consistency, yes.
For a function of time.
Yeah, that's true. But how does the danger play a role here? So there could be a different outcome. There could be, also we expect it, or we are confident that it has a good outcome. But the bad outcome is possible.
Yeah.
I think it's always trust. It's like you're trusting somebody with something always.
Yeah.
There is something very specific that is trusting a machine or a person. It could be like it could be a performance, it could be like mostly trusting something and somebody with another action, mostly always, so there's something at stake.
Yeah.
What is at stake here is what you expect.
Yeah.
So what you're trusting the person or the machine with.
Yes, so again there's skin in the game. So this stake, something bad could happen, but based on experience we are confident that, or experience with that person, or expect somehow. Belief is that the outcome will still be positive.
I'll just put it
May not always be answered.
differently.
No, I was just going to say, it need not always be experience also. Like I said, like when you go to the hospital, you trust the doctor.
Yeah.
You have never met a doctor before. But
Yeah.
sometimes with the position that you occupy, the emotional relationship that you have with the person, it is something, a trust to deliver something.
Yes.
So if I'm using a device, I trust it over a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
A new update came, and maybe a bug or an adversarial attack has happened. But I
Yeah.
still use it thinking that I trust it. And this might cause some financial harm to me.
Yeah.
So the trust is there, but I don't know that it's
Yeah.
not trustworthy.
Yes. That's all. But that's actually a good point. So there's always, so in addition to the danger component, there is also a lack of information which is included. So if we have complete knowledge of something, we know the outcome. Then there is no danger involved. So there has to be some sort of uncertainty, which translates a bit to lack of knowledge or other randomness in the system.
I think if you have complete knowledge, then also you don't need to trust.
Yes,
Then
exactly.
you know.
Then you know.
Yeah, the trust also needs a little bit of not knowing something. That's when you need to trust. Otherwise, you don't need to. So if the water falls on me, I don't need to trust the water. I know that it's gonna get me wet.
Yeah.
Like, so it's going to transmit. Like, I don't have to trust it. This is something that I know.
Yeah.
So if there is fire, like, I know it's going to burn me. But, trust is like when there is like a little bit not sure, there is a chance
Yeah.
that it could go otherwise.
Exactly. So there's some sort of lack of knowledge. How about we're going to the extreme, to not knowing anything? there's alien, something appearing in the middle of the room. Do we have trust?
That opened up an interesting, I'm not sure, like I just want to ask this question to everyone, right? Is there a difference between trust and a leap of faith?
Leap of faith?
Is there a difference? I mean, I'm not sure.
So faith is a different concept. Interesting. At least I find it.
No, I mean, I just had this, or I wanted to pose this question to everyone. Yeah.
But it is a different concept, at least for me. How is it different?
So the faith does not need any reason. It need not be rationally justified at all for you to have faith in something. You need absolutely no proof or reason to have faith. But to trust, you need a little bit of some proof. Like I have faith in you. Like you can just say that. Like yeah, sure. But when you say I trust you, it has a different tone to it. Like Like,
no, I do not know the answer to this, but I always thought personally, right? Faith is on a higher pedestal and trust is on a lower pedestal. I'm not generalizing this concept. It is just
higher pedestal in terms of what? Like,
when I have faith, right, I don't have any intention to judge it.
Because you can't. Because there is no rationality behind that. Like you need some reason.
Right. I'm just thinking, even I don't know the answer. I just, this has come through. But let me think about it. Because the question just came to me. Let me think about it.
In faith, you have more skin in the game.
With faith, you have more skin in the game. It could be, yeah. So I think probably the consequence. So if that, what I gather here is that faith is that you don't need any evidence that the outcome is positive, but you still choose to believe that it's positive. So of course, then the risk is larger. Yes. So just extrapolating here from that, if there's a partial knowledge in the trust case, faith is then the extreme where we don't have any knowledge at all, any objective evidence. Perhaps we have feelings, emotions that say that this is true. Yes, this is fun. Just fun discussion. Yes. Here. So also note that all this material now. So the funding for the project comes from the Strategic Research Council, and they have a program which funds many projects within trust. And we recently had a workshop where all these projects within the program talked about trust. So this is now from one other project, Repair, other project, and their outcomes about trust. And here is one definition of trust. The willingness of a party to be vulnerable to the actions of another party based on the expectations that the other will perform a particular action important to the trustor. So trustor is me, I'm trusting, I'm the trustor, irrespective of the ability to monitor or control that other party. I think this has quite many components, what we discussed already. So expectation was mentioned many times, that there's a kind of somehow statistical confidence that the outcome is positive. Control, so we don't have a control, so that's the kind of connected to the lack of information. We cannot know, and we have also been perhaps that the ability to monitor. We don't explicitly say now that we cannot see what is actually happening. Or, but that is connected to control. So if we could see what is happening, then we could perhaps step in and change it. But then the vulnerability was something like I was trying to fish for. I didn't get really specific down, but there is a danger. So something could happen to us, which is not good. But we have the trust that the outcome is not going to happen. It also says that it's important to the truster. So if it's not important, perhaps you don't have trust. But it's perhaps part of the skin in the game. So there's a stake, small stake, then the trust is not so relevant. Without any stake, of course, there is no need for trust. The different definition, a bit newer one, situations where one has to make oneself vulnerable by relying on another person or object, regardless of the trust object's will or volition. So now there's quite a few new things here. So make oneself vulnerable. So I'm choosing to put myself in danger. I'm relying. So now we come back to origin. So there's a reliability issue here. So it's a person or object, regardless of the trust object. So I'm trusting on something, an object or a person, but regardless of that object's will or volition. So the other one does not have a say in whether I'm trusting it or not. So that comes back to the criminal. He doesn't know that I'm trusting him or her to steal my bike. So that's certainly an asymmetry here. We can trust on, let's say, IIT without IIT knowing that I'm trusting them. Does that give new thoughts? So there's a truster, so that's if I'm trusting, I'm a truster, and then there's trust and trustworthiness of the trustee. So here it's basically the objective performance of the trustee. Yes. And that's the first level from the repair project. I think we have 3 different projects here, so you can see each of them how they define. Well, this is still repair. But if we think about technology in particular, now a bit more discussion. How is it with time? When is tea? 10:30, so still half an hour. So who places trust on technology? So shall we have a speech interface? Who is trusting a speech interface? Users, someone says yes. Okay? So yes, users can trust or not trust. And quite obviously, if they don't trust, they probably won't use it. Or try to avoid using it. With WhatsApp, it's sometimes difficult to avoid using it because everyone else uses it. But at least we would like to be in a situation where we can trust. Okay, so that's one category of.
Yeah, then the developer. And
developer, yes.
Yeah, so we have Amazon. We can talk to Amazon and order. So there is a speech interface in Amazon website.
Yeah.
So the developer has trust in that application. He feels that it can take the voice of the user and it can translate it meaningfully and it can service the request.
Yes.
So developer is also
one of the truster, and,
Yes.
and the platform which has used that application feels that yes, it can scale up its operations by using that interface.
Yeah, so let's take one thing at a time. So the developers, or the engineers and designers and whatever other people involved, they trust the speech interface that they kind of research it and test it to make sure that it works the way expected, and then they place trust on it once in action. Yes. So next entity who trusts the speech interface.
The people who have set up the standards.
People who set up standards. What kind of standards?
For speech communication.
For speech communication. Now, what people would that be? What organization? So you can use the microphones again so that remote people hear us.
The investors.
Okay, investors. Yes. So that's just, investors of what?
Investors who are investing in the technology or a product.
So the product or the
so it can be like somebody who's investing on my phone, making my phone.
Yeah.
Also, like need not be that particular technology itself. Like there are devices that uses that technology, or let's say in a hospital there is like a equipment that might be using this technology, and then the investors in the hospital also.
Okay. So then two different types of investors. So let's say Apple phone, then the investors of Apple trust the product they have. But also then if the hospital owns the device, the hospital, so the owner of the final device places trust on that service or device.
So taking this microphone as an example.
So which microphone? Yeah,
the one that you use.
This one, yeah.
The online participants trust that it works.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They are also stakeholders.
The stakeholders, yes. So that now this is like a multi-user scenario. I'm speaking, and there are listeners. In some sense, both are users, but there is a different types of users. Yes, that's true. So there are user categories.
Question, not answer.
Yeah. Good.
Is there a chain of trust scenario involved in technology?
Chain of trust?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
In the context of, say, like your SSLs, right? I mean, when you're using SSLs, the base SSLs are created by only 4 entities, right? And that get propagated to distributors, and whoever is selling to us is the third layer, basically. Is there a scenario like that, like a chain of trust, right, in technology? Just want to, like, I mean, is it one-on-one relationship, or is there a layering to it?
Yeah, there's nodding in the room, and I agree. So I think like in the investor case, the developers trust that the thing that they produced is trustworthy, and the employer trusts the engineers and the developers. Investors or the management trusts the engineers.
So there is a chain of
yes.
trust.
Yes. But yes, it's also an aspect that I haven't explicitly thought of. But is it? Yeah. So can there be direct trust as well? So investors trusting the speech interface directly. I don't know if that makes sense. Yes. So what is it that you are trusting? is it the, so we just talk about speech interface. So is it the particular system, so just, or you said that there's an update, you might have a worst experience with after update. So it's a particular version of the system. Or is it the algorithm?
The user.
User?
No, I'm asking whose trust are you talking about?
Yeah, but that's also that we have to always specify who is trusting. Who is trusting which part? Or is it clear what they are trusting?
So the user, in case of an update, the
Yeah.
user trusts the company to make sure the testing is done and it's secure, no bugs are introduced, nobody
Yeah.
can attack it.
Yeah. So I would say that is at least one aspect. They trust the company to make good updates, but still you can have a mistrust. At least when I get an update, and I go to an update also. This morning, if I could have put an update on my computer, I wouldn't have done it because I'm scared that something happens for my presentation. So I don't trust the update, even if I trust the company. It's a high stakes situation. Everything could go bad if the presentation is now not there.
And nowadays, trust also depends on some kind of people in one country distrust technology in another country and so on. Nowadays,
Yes, so you can trust also the countries who produce them.
the companies where the countries where the companies are based or whatever.
That's a good extension. I like that. So at least in the Western hemisphere, like Europe and US, we tend to, our governments tend to distrust China as a category. Also distrust perhaps Iran, the political atmosphere there. Whether that is right or wrong, I wouldn't make a judgment. Especially now here on YouTube. And so we can have different trusts on the, like, let's say again perhaps a chain of trust. That's because the company comes from this country, we might not trust it. Perhaps that also goes down to the engineers, that if one company has lots of engineers from a particular country, that has an influence on the company's reputation. Reaching the microphone is difficult.
Trusting algorithm, I think it's a more specific to the data science team or the developer team. They trust that specific algorithm works. But as a user, I do not know which algorithm.
Yes, so that's all true. Just repeating in the microphone again that the developers, engineers might trust the specific algorithm, although the users don't know what an algorithm is, so they have no trust to that. They see only the package. And you had also something.
I want to say that as well, right? I mean, for user, it is always binary. I mean, the technology is always binary, right? I mean, like, it either works, it doesn't work, right? They generally don't care about like what is the algorithm or like what is the backend services, what is the complexity around it. I mean, like, book a cab, the cab should come.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what algorithm you choose, what operations you carry out to make it happen, it doesn't matter for them basically.
Yeah.
So like they particularly place a trust in technology to come up with to solve their problem or a use case, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it works, and generally, right? I mean, see, like there are two aspects to even trust, right? There are two aspects. I mean, like from a technology point of view, right? One of the things is adoption. I mean, adoption and trust are like totally different concepts altogether, right? I mean, like if it doesn't solve my purpose, right? The company might release like 4 or 5 different products where 3 can solve my purpose and 2 doesn't basically, right? It doesn't mean that I am not trusting the technology, right? I'm not trusting the product basically, or the product does not fit my adaptation basically, right? So generally, I've been using iPhone for like the last 10, 11 years, right? I know a pattern, right? Going back to what Rishit said, right? Whenever an update comes very, very close to a new iPhone launch, right? Your iPhone will behave very poorly. I've experienced it. I have a notification with me for like the last 1 year where I haven't updated my OS, and some of my apps are, critical apps I cannot use, but I still choose to not update because I know, like, the moment I update, right, I have to upgrade my phone basically. So, see, certain aspects, I still like iPhone for its usability, and also, right, to some extent, I cannot switch back to Android after, although I trust Android, from a totally different angle altogether, but there comes familiarity as well. Familiarity is also another component of building trust, and you will lean on the side of forgiving if they are transparent when you have familiarity with them as well. So that is another layering of trust.
That's perhaps then kind of you get trust their intentions.
Correct.
Correct. Familiarity and transparency.
Correct. I'm specifically talking about technology. Familiarity doesn't come into picture like with people.
Familiarity.
you just said like your familiarity is why you are not changing the phone.
I'm not sure about that. Really, I'm not sure about that.
But you had a new concept there as well, context. So trust can be different in different contexts. So the same object of trust, so the trustee, so the same trustee can have different trust for different purposes. So I will trust that criminal neighbor for many things. Like this one thing I trust.
Just one point.
On
that. So we were discussing that I trust the product to work or not. I don't go into the internal algorithm or internal components of that. But when I'm purchasing a device, an audio interface or phone or something, I look at what features it has, whether it has Dolby Atmos, whether it has a particular chip or a processor that works. What is the rating of that? So these things, I do look at a few of these things. Maybe not everything, but
So you look at properties. Yes.
Algorithm could be part of it, reliable algorithm.
Yes. But so looking at properties then basically means that you trust it to have all the things you would like it to have. So that it fulfills your needs. Next level of question. When is trust happening? Is it that thing which is always there, or before, during an interaction, or after it? Microphone.
When there is a transparency.
When there is a transparency. So, So you need to have transparency. System.
I think this is a very good example of like how trust and faith is different. You trust before and then you have faith afterwards. You know that there is nothing to be done, then you need to have the faith. But the trust, I think, is during and before mostly. Afterwards, trusting it. When there is, like he said, when there is no transparency, like whether you don't know if it's done or not.
Yeah.
In those circumstances, like if you have the full knowledge of, what would be an example of that? I can't think of anything right now, but I know. But sometimes you don't know if the action is done or not.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like the moment you know that it's done, you're done performing it. Now the result, now there is no more. So then you stop trusting. Then it's faith.
Okay.
So it's during or before the trust.
Yeah. So I like that faith. That is also now a nice addition here. On the previous slide, I think there was the definition that we have a lack of control of the outcome. So then during whatever it's doing, we have no information about it. That received me as the reason why it's faith, because at that point we have zero information about the outcome.
I mean, I have an alternate, I mean, it's not an alternate opinion, but trust also evolves with time. See,
yes.
I mean, I'll tell you an example, right? See, transparency, yes, right? We built a system, I mean, like, I've been working with this client for like last 6 years now, right? We built a system, AI system, which does something online and manufactures offline.
Yeah.
Right? So like the specifications should match. I mean to some extent, like 97% or 96%. Right? We unintentionally, we did only one metric. I mean, like there is a metric called intersection OU to like actually measure the performance of the overall system, right? But during one update of an algorithm, right, unintentionally, a particular batch of manufacturing had a visual difference when compared to the design. It was completely unintentional.
Yeah.
It went off the radar for like 6-7 months because the quality control was done for initial set of, but the moment after 7 months, the client came back comparing both. And she started distrusting the entire process.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It is not about transparency alone, right? See, you can be transparent when you know what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Say for example, if you don't know, the intention is only to deliver things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you do not know, you actually did not know that the mistake. I mean, after 7 months, when the client picked up, right, she immediately had the distress in the process, and we had to build the trust from the scratch.
Yes.
Again, and we have built it to a point where, even when an update is going on, there are some bells and whistles in place, right? So trust is not only about transparency, right? Sometimes, even though you have intentions to be transparent, sometimes you cannot.
Yeah.
And that applies to human situations as well. So that's
so that's back to that. There needs to be some danger involved and lack of control. And in this case, there was lack of control from the client towards you, but also you had lack of control of the process.
Yes.
So now the train of trust. That failed.
Exactly. And then we had to rebuild from the scratch. It took 1 year, 1.5 years to rebuild that relationship. But everything can be rebuilt. The one caveat I'm telling you is, it is not only about transparency, because sometimes you do things which you don't intend to.
Yeah.
And it gets slipped away because it's an honest mistake. Right? When there are multiple stakeholders involved, right? Mistakes can happen. And a trusting relationship will have a little bit of tolerance on the mistakes, as well, basically.
Yes. But then tolerance for mistakes is part of the intention. If the intentions are good. Perhaps that now spontaneously comes to mind that perhaps then you also need to communicate to the client or the user interface that this is our intention and this is the variability we expect.
And this applies to, like, I mean, the recent school of thought, right? I mean, like, where the evolution is taking place, right? People like 15 years ago, right, like had a binary version of softwares basically. When I say binary versions, right, it either works, it doesn't work basically, right? And you can exactly point out like why it did not work and you will work towards fixing it.
Yeah.
With AI, right? I mean, see, the problem precisely happened because of AI problem only. I mean, it was a deep learning pipeline, right? Something somewhere screwed up. I know exactly what I mean, but so technical to discuss.
Yeah.
It is not explainable, right? I mean, and when you are building systems like that, right, you should always have error on the side of over communication. I mean, nothing is like under communication. I mean, like when you are building an AI system, and when there is a false positive rate that is involved. I mean, like the matrix that are involved, right? You have to, the onus is on you to communicate that proactively and have bells and whistles in place to catch it basically.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it is okay, right? Even to fail sometimes, right? Unless otherwise, you are the one who catch it.
Yeah.
And report back, right? I mean, if we fail, before you notice, we caught it, right? And if you have that bells and whistles, you will usually get away.
Yeah.
But building the bells and whistles is also equally complicated, like building the software. So yeah.
But now you brought in a new kind of level here. It was the binary versus non-binary trust. So there could be, according to this argument, there could be different levels of trust.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that is a good thing to keep in mind. It's not either or. It's how much.
Exactly. And with the AI taking over, right, it is going to be layered only. It is not going to be binary anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's increasingly.
Increasingly.
So it's a kind of a gray scale.
Exactly.
And then when designing things, then we should communicate that gray scale.
Exactly. And trust me, I mean, building the deep learning pipeline is easy. Right? Building the bells and whistles is the toughest part. When especially from a B2C context, you're building something from an AI to run things, right? Oh my God, building bells and whistles and catching it early. I mean, that itself is a project. If this costs you 1 minute, that is going to cost you 1.5 minutes. So, yeah.
But getting back to the time axis, there was. I think we had someone. I think it was you said that there's the trust before and during, but then once we lose control, then we are in the faith section, and then we get the product, get the outcome. But if let's say we have a different scenario, we have an investor an advisor, investing advisor gives you advice on how to invest. And before and during we advise that, and then we get the advice. Perfect. Now we have this. How does then in that scenario the trust develop over time? We have invested some money in something. Shares or a building, the price of that then goes up or down. We've seen that if the price goes down rapidly, I could lose trust, or my trust in that advisor could drop afterwards.
But it's still going on. It's not over.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not over. Once it's over, then then there is no more action, the action is over.
Yeah.
So then there is no trusting. So in this case it's still going on.
Yeah, but so the question is it always obvious when it's over?
Sorry?
Is it always obvious when it's over?
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yes, especially the speech interface. With speech interface, probably there's also the repeated thing that you might always use it again. There's also
No.
So there's also one other thing so we always talk about the during and the before, but I think there can be situations where I can, let's say I'm now in Darwin, I've never been here before, and I could go out for a walk, without really paying attention where I go, because I have my phone with me and I trust the GPS to guide me back home if I get lost. But then it turns out that I did find my way back home, so I never needed to use it. So there is no during. I hadn't trusted it, even if I didn't end up using that service at all. So it can be entirely just before, even if it never becomes during. So yes, so this is time axis is also complicated. Oh yes, we also got to how much. That's all. So how much to trust? Next. There is trusting too much or too little. I think it seems that it's obvious that we shouldn't trust too much and shouldn't trust too little. If we trust too much, then the danger increases, and if we trust too little, then we don't get the benefits we could get out of that relationship. So the optimal trust would be the just right. For some reason I've written here reflective, analytical, active trust. So I believe that, so we need to think, at least analytical seems obvious, that we should think about, analytically think about how much trust is appropriate. So I have some internal reflection or discussion about what is optimal. And also that it's an active process. We need to review the trust to be optimal and constantly. Not constantly, but often. Depends on how much it's at stake. Let's see. Okay, yes. Next slide is a different topic. So now we are at 10:30. We have a tea break now.